If you wanna go, just go.
What they say is
If you wanna
recorded
go,
when
just
it's
go.
the red one.
The red one.
I be forgetting. I be up there like
Looking at that camera like,
If you wanna go, just go. I got plenty more. I ain't tryna brag about it. If you wanna go, just go. I got plenty more. I ain't tryna brag about it. If you wanna go, just go. I'm giving the green light, cause this shit don't seem right no more. If you wanna go, just go. I'm giving the green light, cause this shit don't seem right no more. Shit done changed. What happened from then to now, girl, you can't explain. You the one that falls, so on you I place the blame. Scrolling through the memories when you was my new flame. Now the flame died out, cause you put that fire out. Ain't got shit to lie about, but I ain't got time to be mad. I just cut my cash and sit back and laugh. I can't be focused on the past, the present is now, and life going fast. And I'm working hard for mine, living the head, you gotta go grab. When I go to riches from rags, I hope you don't come back hoping for a bag. Yeah, I ain't sure you're none of that.
I'm using your bag on this one. I'm using your bag on this one, Tom. I'm using your bag on this one.
It's a change like the weather now. Yeah, but trust me, I'll figure out. Mama said they always gonna come back around. Yeah, but I took a different route. Yeah, I could've win anyway. God protected me. He just keep on blessing me. If I win, I bring my team. This for all those people who is ever thinking less of me. If you wanna go, just go. Just go, just go, just go, just go, just go.
Just for all those people that was thinking less of me.
Bro, that video.
If you wanna go, just go.
That's what he was in that bitch like.
Yeah, no.
If you wanna go, just go. I got plenty more. I ain't tryna brag about it. If you wanna go, just go. I got plenty more. I ain't tryna brag about it. No, 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 no. If you wanna go, just go. Just go, 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 just go.
Got the soundboard with
I
me.
know that. It's gonna, you don't got the soundboard.
Oh, bro.
But
I'm giving the green light, cause this shit don't seem right no more. If you wanna go, just go. I'm giving the green light, cause this shit don't seem right no more. If you wanna go, just go. If my guess don't receive nothing down what it seems.
I feel like this is a smooth song, so it's gonna be like the smooth. I feel like when this song you playing on the radio, you gotta be like with the deep voice, like "Hello guys,
Oh, God. Welcome back.
Cartel Radio."
This is the after hour.
That was Sal.
This is the after hour.
On
Go ahead and call in with your next request.
I'm gonna be here all night.
Literally, man.
I don't even remember making that bitch.
This one, you remember making it?
I just be in the stew, blacked out, bro.
Man,
Like not like on the drugs, but like I just be like,
man, just in that zone, bro. Locked in that flow state, like how we
Amazing,
talked
bro.
about last week.
Oh
For
God.
sure. For sure.
Man, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's episode 5 of the Empty Cup Podcast.
Let's go.
Yes,
Clap it
sir.
up for making
Man,
that 5
let's
episodes.
go. We 5 episodes.
Milestone
deep,
for sure.
bro.
Yeah,
Like the
that's
milestone.
nice.
I commend everybody, you know, could not do this alone. Love all of you guys, man. We are at just the beginning. 5 is a special number. It's 5 of us. East, even though is in the studio. So we are here still. But we have a special guest today. So first, I would like to introduce Brandon Cooper. Brandon, he has been an entrepreneur and trailblazer in the space of technology and AI. This year, he's been on Forbes, TEDx. He's had TV appearances on FinTech TV, at the New York Stock Exchange, at the first ever Founders Day for Black History Month. He's been a part of Afrotech and just recently spoke in Colombia on AI the capabilities, where it's going in the future. And I feel like, you know, for our 5th episode, our first guest, I think this would be important. And fun fact, he actually created the name for the Empty Cup podcast. So
we got to type it up on that list of accomplishments there too.
Yeah,
that's real right there,
for
sure.
How you been, man?
I've been great, man. Blessed. Glad to be here. Thanks, you guys, for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming in and stopping in with us for sure to talk.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no problem.
For sure. How y'all guys?
Been same tip, man. Just been focused on pushing forward. Always trying to lead by example, man. I feel like when you get thrown those trials and tribulations, as long as you stay focused on those goals and keep your head on straight, man, it's no time to feel down, man. You gotta, you know, put that jacket on, man, and go to work. So I feel like, man, it's keeping me up right now, setting those new challenges and trying to break them. So I'm feeling good right now, for sure.
Facts. Hey, like you said, every day a challenge, but you just gotta wake up, keep going, go through it, push towards your goals. So we another day here with my guys. I'm grateful.
How you been?
Oh, me? Yeah, I've been, my fault. I've been good. I thought you were talking to our guest. I've been good. This has actually been a really good week for me. I've been on the grind. A lot of opportunities in terms of money and school opening up for me. So I'm in that like final leg of school. So I'm gonna finish strong.
Man, you right there. You
I'm
right there.
I'm right there. Yeah, so I think I have an opportunity to take a new mentor in the finance sector, and I'm just ready to push forward. So
yes,
I had a great week. It was busy, but it was a good week.
That's good to hear, bro. Hell yeah. I've been good, man. Just ready to just move forward. I'm about to move into a new place, so I feel like everything just kind of shifted into like a new space for me. Mm-hmm. We started back teaching, so the school year started, so everything just, you feel me, elevating. So I think it's just everything going in sync for real, you know? I've also feel like since we've been doing these, like every episode, like something happens where like I gotta put what we talked about to the test, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like with us having our first guest today, kind of going and breaking, and we're discovering our creative process right now, you know what I'm saying? So again, I'd like to welcome Brandon. So tell us a little bit about what you do, bro. Like for a lot of us, when it comes to tech, AI, we boxed out of it. We at the communication capacity with it. We know our phones, our computers, but could you explain a little of what you do?
Yeah, I'm the CEO and co-founder of AFIT. We're ultimately an artificial intelligence company. We've invented a way for digital software robots to do work for you so you don't have to work 40 hours a week. Mm-hmm. Everyone is very conditioned, and we've been trained since a very young age in this system, the matrix, whatever you want to call it. You know, we talk matrix all the time. But you're on a hamster wheel, so 5 days a week, you're doing the same thing over and over again, repetitive tasks. But you get injured, you can't go into work, you get laid off, your money stops. This is a very 1930s, 40s, 50s way of doing work. And me, prior to creating AFIT, I was working at Apple for 7 years as a senior technology advisor for them. And just like any other job, nothing against them in particular, but they were working me like a dog. And I was sitting there at my desk, I was like, man, I wish I could just clone myself, like have another version of me working, but I could like watch it from the beach, and I could just watch it work for me like an employee. And this is like, you know, this is years ago. This is before like the AI wave is buzzwordy now. But back then, no one was talking about AI, especially our people weren't talking about AI at all. So I was much more ahead of the curve at that particular time. But long story short, fast forward button, left Apple and started doing AFIT full time and haven't looked back since. So we have a team of about 15 people, so it's not the Brandon show. We have a pretty big team, pretty solid team, very diverse team. Moved to Los Angeles, out there in what they call Silicon Beach. So it's like the Silicon Valley of Los Angeles. Wanted to basically create the roots there, plant the seeds there, and start to take that over, because I predicted a lot of spillover was going to come from Silicon Valley down to LA, because LA had a better nightlife. Turned out to be right.
Definitely.
But here I am.
What exactly does AFID cover as far as their AIs? Like, what day-to-day tasks could they basically help a person like, say, like for myself, benefit from?
Yeah, so we're basically taking the users through a funnel. So it depends if you have a business or if you want it for personal use. To answer your question, AFID is an AI one-stop shop. So any AI tool on the internet can list on the AFID network, and you can choose by category the robots that you want to use. So that means AFID, us as the company, we create the tools ourselves natively, meaning like AFID is behind as the developer, or there's another developer who's created something cool and they want to list it in the network. You as the user can go into that marketplace and choose the ones you want to use.
Wow.
So that means music, that could be design, it could be, if you have a small business, like a lot of small businesses are picking up, especially in the United States, is really running the country right now. They don't know where to go for administrative things, right? Like how to run a company, how to do customer service. They don't have the money to afford to pay someone to do the sales rep, the marketing jobs, right? So AI can handle all of these things, from email to a chatbot on a website, like a virtual assistant.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's very interesting. For sure. What would you say to people who are afraid of the AI, afraid of the technology? I feel like the way you just spun it, it sounds like a very, very helpful tool. But I know if it's people who are going to be like reluctant to make that switch, because it obviously is coming. Just like every other form of technology, obviously it's coming in waves. Obviously it's coming. So what would you say to those people who are who would be like hesitant to try to use obviously a very helpful tool?
Yeah, as you said, it's coming. It's already here. The vast majority of people haven't really been affected by it all the way, but by the year 2030, it's going to get really, really, really serious.
Oh yeah.
And then our people in particular are very much behind when it comes to tech. You mentioned it. We're more consumers opposed to the creators of the technology. Our goal as AFID is ultimately to save the humans and say, hey, we feel like you shouldn't be afraid of robots taking your jobs. We think they should. However, in our ecosystem, you get paid from the ones that you control. So we give you an ID as a human and then say, all right, you want to power these robots to do these particular tasks. At least now you're going to have stability in your income.
Right.
If the worst case scenario, United States by the year 2030, over like 300 million jobs could be affected, maybe more. And that includes doctors doing surgery. It's going to come to a point in time where you're only going to want robots to operate on your family members, because you don't have to deal with human error. So a lot of their salaries for these, this is what I'm predicting, a lot of the salaries for these doctors and lawyers are going to go down, because the AI is going to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the human can jump in at step 7 now and look at the charts and see what they need to look at, and then talk to the families and things like that. So the jobs we're not going to be ousted out all the way. It's going to be what's called semi-supervised. So people are going to be moving over to different departments and doing different things. But no question about it, these corporations are all about money, so they're going to do their best to save on costs. That's why you see all the writer strikes and everything happening right now. They want to take actors' faces and you can use AI to create movies, and you don't even need them anymore. So it's a very, very interesting time. Even music too. We talked about music where like Timbaland played the song where he had AI create a Biggie verse on one of his beats. So that's where AI is. And I think people shouldn't be afraid. They just need to prepare themselves. And I think the biggest mistake is believing that you're not going to be affected by it. Right now is like the late 70s, late 80s, where people are like, why do I need to learn how to use a computer? I don't need to, it's a typewriter connected to this big ass TV, right? But AI is going to be the same way. If you don't know how to work with AI at all, you're pretty much going to be useless. So what would happen, as I mentioned, in the worst case scenario, if all of these jobs get taken, they have what's called UBI, Universal Basic Income, would basically be like a stimulus where people would get paid every month because the jobs are so scarce and people can't afford to live.
Jeez. So do you think that it can go too far in a way? Like, that sounds like, I mean, that's an extreme. I can see it possibly happening. But in that way and in other ways, you don't think that that can be taken too far? Is that something that needs to be checked or addressed?
Yeah, it's already getting there by the rapid growth. Everyone saw the big emergence with ChatGPT, OpenAI, and like GPT-4 is like the first GPT 3.5 on steroids, and it only gets better and better and better over time, right? The scary part of AI, I think, is more so in deep fakes, where people take your face and throw it on something that's not actually you. A lot of different ways I don't want to say on camera where that can really go bad. But deep fakes is like the biggest cause for concern, and to the point where the SEC has now put AI regulation over crypto regulation. That's how important it is. They have, I think, it's probably more now, but last I checked, it was like 1,100 signatures from Elon Musk and all these other people who are basically telling everyone, hey, we need to slow down with AI because it's moving too fast. So they're going to put regulation in place and certain parameters in place to try to safeguard everything for humans. But I do think there's going to be a massive reduction in how many kids people have, because the quality of life is decreasing, and you don't want to bring kids into this life because everything is going up, man. Like mortgage is 7%. Right now, they're forcing us. They're forcing us into a renter society, and I got all this clone meat, and the Amazon is burning up. It's like it's a shit show.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. I heard you say something about doctors being like the AI doctors, just because of like the room for error with humans. I think I'd still rather a human perform surgery for me, one of my family members. That's just me speaking.
That's because you ain't seen it happen yet. You ain't seen a robot do it yet.
Like,
you ain't seen a
I was just
robot do it
thinking,
yet.
like, when you were talking about like human error, because when I remember I was working at a car wash, and I was like just thinking about like the customer service. Like, we would just have to go up to this machine that had like the washes pre-picked, and it kind of like talked to the customer. And I was like, dang, it's not gonna be too long until they not gonna need me anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then it was just like I saw like it was the older people having difficulty with the interface. You know what I'm saying? So it was like assisting them too.
Yeah.
But when you see that, I also like see what you're talking about with the slippery slope. And you had said that too, where it's like, okay, we put in a lot of trust into this AI and who is designing these algorithms. I know me and you had talked a little bit about how AI does policing in certain countries, where it's like it's starting to implement with policy, you know? So it's like whoever is building these algorithms, if they have biases, like, you know, who are these AIs like targeting as the ones that look the most aggressive?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's gonna be niggas, like we gonna be looking
right.
just like how it is with policing and policy now. We're gonna start seeing the same biases if we aren't the ones behind those algorithms.
Yeah, but it might be a little harder to trick a computer than a person.
The bias, it's all in the programmer. What will have to happen is maybe it's through AI regulation. They probably just have to. It's called source code, basically. When you program, it's in code, right? So you typing out the code in the language. They would have to share that code so everyone can see it publicly, and you can see that there is no bias in the code. So that will prevent the racial issues.
So I have a couple questions when it comes to that. What about, number one, people who don't understand code, like the masses, you know?
They wouldn't need to. You would just need experts who know code that can. People of color. Will look more likely care more to review the code and say this is bias, right? And then say because when a person, so specifically in AI, it's called a machine learning model. So whenever you're feeding information into like a bias, what you're talking about, it's called a model. So you're really growing the brain of that and giving it, it's running off data. There are subsets to it, like you can go further and further in different types of machine learning, but to keep it high level, you're feeding this one little pot information, like a brain, right? And then from there, it executes whatever is happening from the data that it's receiving. A lot of people don't even know, we've been programming models for a long time. Whenever we do CAPTCHA and they say which one is the fire extinguisher, and we click the picture, we're training their model to tell them which one was a fire extinguisher.
Wow.
I know you had more questions on that.
That is kind of crazy. I was gonna say, in terms of like security, so if we start giving these processes, policies, practices to AI, whether that be on the medical side of things, the workforce, and even policing, how comfortable can we be with a security aspect from the point of like hackers and getting, again, I don't know exactly how it works, but is that something that's possible? Like, people accessing the AI and changing the code or changing the programming?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Is that something that
iRobot? No doubt. It's basically iRobot. It's AI versus AI, and then it's AI to spot AI. So you're using AI cybersecurity to spot the fraudulent activity, and that can go like a myriad of different ways, like to go bad for like physical robots, but it's going to decrease crime a lot. Police are, again, this is what I'm predicting, right? This isn't Bible, but I'm usually right with my foresight. But they'll use robots to infiltrate a home if they need to go, like the DEA or somebody need to bust through the door and they don't need to send a human in there to potentially get killed. They can send a robot in there. It can look for your face, scan, oh, here he is, apprehend you. If you destroy the robot or something, or it's bulletproof, they're gonna get you. And it forces you out the house, and now we got what we needed to go. Now that person can go home to their family.
That's like
They don't have to worry about that. So they have them now. They have the ones like dogs. You've seen Minority Report.
Yeah.
They had the ones that crawled in and it got on his face and scanned his eye, and it knew he was in there, and they were able to rush in. So all that's gonna happen in the future. Firemen too.
Yeah, you mentioned you said like our people are usually more so consumers than innovators when it comes to this field. With you, like obviously, it's good to hear that we do have people who are in this field that are trying to push, just technology period forward. Did you face any like pushback when trying to get your business and your company off the ground from I'm sure from a racial standpoint, from any issues that you had, coming, especially leaving Apple and doing your own thing? Did you face like what type of challenges did you face trying to get everything going?
Subtle racism is not right in your face in the meetings, but it's through capital. Like the racism that we face in technology is through lack of capital. Less than 2% of black founders are funded. If you're a woman founder, it's like 1%. I think that the data is even less of 2022. It's like embarrassing stats. But that is design. That is not because we don't have the talent. Oftentimes, we're the ones creating the technology, and they're Christopher Columbus and all of our shit.
That sounds very believable.
But our community's issue is we go run to Mark Zuckerberg's because we have this underlying crabs in a barrel type of DNA, or as a society, Willie Lynch or whatever you want to call it, it's ingrained in us to compete with each other and support white, which is fine. But there are a lot of things like we can have a whole conversation on like our community, like how our dollar leaves in 4 to 6 hours. Yeah. And then the Chinese dollar it stays in their community 27 days. Yeah. Like these are alarming statistics where we can build wealth through our own communities, but we also have to stop making the mistake of not getting money from other ethnicities ourselves. Like you don't see Chinese business on the building or people like black owned and everything too. That turns certain people away. So that's a whole another conversation, but I just wanted to mention
that sounds, man, just based off the words that you were saying, man, just when you're doing something as groundbreaking as what you are, I feel like, of course, you're gonna find, run into that wall every time. That sounds no different than what Kanye be saying, what he was trying to do with Yeezy. Like, it's just like you said, the subtle racism. They try to put things in place to keep you from hitting new heights, like such as capital being funded, for example. They probably give you 20 reasons under the sun why you won't get funded, why they can't fund you or this and that.
Correct.
But you done seen, like I said, other groups, other ethnicities, and I feel like you being able to educate our people about what the benefits of what AI does, I feel like that's gonna allow us to be able to get a jump start on it and put us above, further than the 8 ball, so we can keep that black dollar circulating in the black neighborhoods and the communities to make sure that, like I said, everybody is being as knowledgeable as possible. And because I would hate to be, I know it's funny, like growing up and you trying to help your grandparents with their phones, it just gets so annoying. Like you used to be like, how do you not know this? Like what is wrong with you? How are you not understanding? All you gotta do is do this and this for your phone to do that. And I feel like with the AI and stuff, the more that we actually learn about it from this conversation alone, I feel like it's gonna just help us be able to learn more and be more prepared. Like how you said, it's just about getting ready, because it's coming no matter whether we like it or not. And even us, we're using it now. Yeah, right. It's already here. We're using AI to help us with our marketing and everything.
Yeah,
so
editing videos.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, with AI making, it's already here. Like you're saying, by 2030, businesses are gonna look completely different. When it comes like to people like Elon Musk saying that if we don't integrate with it with like Neuralink, we're like putting chips in our bodies, and I think that speaks back to the fear and like people being reserved on implementing with this. What's your thoughts on that?
Push and pull, tug of war. So it's really gonna go like this for a while. People are gonna inch up. But so I'm trying to remember what movie it was, but it's kind of like if you don't get the upgrades, you basically fall behind. Almost like if we were all in, let's say we're all in class, and let's say you're using Neuralink to instantly get information in your class. You're ahead. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not gonna be able to get a job. You're forced into it. Like, oh yeah, you don't have to get the vaccine, but you can't fly. You can't get on the airplane. Yeah. Oh yeah, you don't have to get the vaccine, but in order to vote, you need to. It says like it's like coercion.
Yeah, I might be on the farm. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I'm winning the Neuralink.
It's the coercion, right? But it'll start with things that you can actually take off. I think I can't speak for it. I don't want to generalize, but putting things in your body seems a lot more invasive. Opposed to something that you can just take off. People are like, oh, they can track everywhere I go. Well, guess what? They
phone.
I mean, they already do. They already can.
Right, but there's some level of comfort knowing that you can sit it down, knowing that you can push power off.
Right.
I have a huge problem with it reading our neurons and reading our thought patterns and being used for evil. You always have to think about the evil side, where it's like, all right, well, if they're learning our behaviors, because they see us on Facebook and everything, they know everything about us, but if they can actually read our brain patterns and know the things that we're thinking, or people are doing things they're not supposed to be doing and taking information and using that, it can be really, really nasty.
I feel like this can already read our minds.
Yeah, I'm about to, I don't, maybe.
Call me crazy.
I'm not gonna call you
I
crazy
thought
for that.
things in my head.
And then it pop up.
Yeah,
I feel you.
But I didn't say it or nothing. I just thought it. I swear.
It's energetic.
I was gonna ask, like, isn't that kind of apparent that it's going almost the evil route? Because data is like the biggest industry on the planet, I think, right now.
Yeah.
You know, so, and you can't really even, my friend tried to research it, like data deals, like people purchasing, these big companies purchasing data, you can't even really see everything. So it's definitely stuff being done in the dark, you know. Wouldn't that kind of lean towards people are using it for the, the left side, not the really?
Sorry, it's already done through the major companies. Apple, if people feel like they're listening to our conversations, you'll see an ad pop up from the things that we say. Google, a search engine just shouldn't have a login system. And no one ever talks about this, but someone being logged into their Gmail and searching for hemorrhoid cream is like, oh, you have hemorrhoids. Like you're signed in, bro. You signed in, bro. Like you have You know what I mean? You typing in all of these things that you wouldn't even tell your therapist.
Right.
And now they can go sell that data on the black market. The black market is huge. So if you're on Facebook, Instagram, Google, I mean, watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix if you haven't seen it, but that just goes to show you how much they know and have on us in general.
Yeah, he's about to be on the farm, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, just off the grid. Quickly on the surgery thing, for doctors, think about someone who had a stressful day. Let's say you and your wife or whatever have a bad day and she stressed you out. Now you about to go do surgery on someone, and you clip something you didn't need to clip. Robots aren't going to do that. So
but how do we know that though?
Because it's precision. It's based on metrics.
The error margin might be less.
Yeah.
I feel like with anything,
Margin of error.
it's a possibility. Like I don't think anything is out.
You'll see.
You'll see
the
towards.
data over time.
Yeah.
So this isn't the same example, but Tesla has autopilot, right?
Yeah.
The autopilot cars have less accidents than humans. It's learning from data. So like what they use is collective intelligence. So let's say we all have a Tesla. You live in Houston, Atlanta, Detroit, Indiana, Tampa Bay, and we all drive Teslas. When you drive, so if these are cars, and these two cars, let's say you stop at 3 feet, you usually brake on the freeway or whatever if it's traffic, and then you stop 3 feet, and they say, what is the average that people brake? So if it's driving automatically, it's going to take those metrics and start to predict, okay, when that accident happened, what caused the accident to happen? So with machine learning, it learns through experience, like a baby learning how to crawl or touching something hot, falling down the stairs or whatever, and it knows not to do that again. So that's called reinforcement learning, where you like giving a dog a treat for a good boy, or you take his face and put it because he used the bathroom in the corner, and you tell him no, and you spank him and put him in a cage. And he knows, okay, I'm not going to do that again, per se. So that's how machine learning will work, even in a sense for surgery.
That had me thinking because our second episode was Vices. And what was it? You remember that movie with Denzel Washington when he was flying the airplane? Flight. Yeah.
He was alcoholic.
Yeah, and he was alcoholic, but it was just like, bro, like humans, you could have or you ever seen that show House? Like a doctor that's just like, he be taking pills, he got an addiction or something, but he's like a genius too. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, would you really want to put your weight in? Because I experienced that with my mom recently firsthand, dealing with just the doctors and the medical team. They were so detached and it seemed like they weren't putting their all. And I know maybe an AI wouldn't be biased or wouldn't be saying have input in their own personal,
wouldn't be exhausted,
exactly.
Wouldn't be overworked, wouldn't be over. I feel like how Brandon was saying, man, they have years of data to go to base all this off of. And I see what you're saying too, Sal. It's gonna be tough, man. Until I can see it with my own two eyes, I feel like it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But they feel like that's the way they're gonna go everywhere, even Walmart. Why would I risk our interaction going bad and you leave a negative review when I could just have a robot go ahead and you know what I mean? And the business is gonna run it's gonna run even more efficiently because I don't gotta worry about paying you no more. I ain't gotta worry about you calling off. It's really crazy. Like that's the wave is going, but man, I feel like it's inevitable, dude.
Humans have to stop complaining so much. We complain too much, never satisfied.
That's true.
Yeah, that too.
Like as much, and even just with me running a business, the hardest part about running a business isn't the creative side at all. It's not building a business. It's managing the people. Human beings. Human beings are so flawed.
Man.
Right? Now this isn't directly to my team. You guys are listening. I love you guys. But managing emotions, managing people, that they have personal lives, things like that, it is a lot. It's a lot.
Definitely.
I work at Enterprise, and a lady told me, you better hope they don't replace y'all with robots in 2 years. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy.
You're not going to miss human interaction, though?
Yeah, you do.
That's the piece for me that messed me up. What's going to happen when, robots take the place of all of these jobs? I don't know. Maybe that's my bias.
We actually were just talking about that on our way here when it came to art and just the experience, because I think I saw some data saying that in this year, like vinyls have sold more than like digital, and that was like kind of like a inclination that like, okay, people are starting to like care about nostalgia. They starting to care about album covers, like having that, like when Kanye had his vinyls look crazy, you know what I'm saying? Tyler,
My Dark Twisted Fantasy, I remember he had
it's just like, and I think down to the live experiences as well, like you were saying, like that human connection. I think it's going to be the price for that is going to go way up, because people can just put on goggles and be here with us, but then for the actual price to meet us, like I actually just saw something, Earl Sweatshirt and Alchemist, they just dropped the project as an NFT, and if you purchase the album, it comes with different perks, one of them being a FaceTime, like you could FaceTime Earl Sweatshirt.
That's a great idea. That is a great idea. That's going to be the way you find, like
exactly,
how you said,
connect with the artist, you know what I'm saying, on top of like all of these spaces that the AI is taking. Like, I think that real connection and genuine, conversation is going to be worth way more.
But then can people afford what it's worth? You feel me? If the price of everything go up and you go on some universal income, can you afford what that is worth? You feel me? And then it's not, if people get generation or two down the line, it's even worse, because now people are used to this and born into that. Now ain't nobody even talking. We already talk about like the generation that's under us, how awkward, like socially they are.
Already.
Can you imagine being born into something like that? You're not even going to the store. You're not interacting with people on a basic level. Nevertheless, in school, how you interact with people, and you're not working the same type of job. So like, what that's the thing I worry about, I think, the most.
Which is a very valid worry. I feel like, because, like how you said, that's just, even now, you can see it now in the younger generation, how different they are from just us, just from the fact that they had tablets when they was born, just how adept they are. Like how Brandon said, dude, this new generation, they're gonna know how to do this AI shit way before we can, because they're growing up in it. They're literally mastering it as they age. Just like how we did with computers, with phones,
and to that point, bro, like I was just thinking, like you in college and you say like you don't have Wi-Fi, your professor gonna look at you like you go to the library.
If you don't go to Starbucks,
right. And that made me think about the coercion, where it's like it's gonna be full institutions where like these students have Neuralink, so they can learn differently than a regular human student. So it's gonna be like,
go to your professor and be like, I don't got a computer.
Right.
Well,
like,
I'm against using computers.
Right.
right.
Good luck.
Good luck. Well, you might as well drop out. You might as well leave college at that point, because all your work is gonna have to be done on the computer. We provide them for you. We got computers in the library you can go to, this and that. But like I said, it's gonna hit a point where they're gonna be, oh well, you're required to have a Neuralink, because this curriculum is 5 days, and you're gonna go through this whole curriculum in 5. There's no way your human brain can do that without this Neuralink. So you're gonna have to, like BG said, man, it's obviously gonna come at a price. I remember being in college, and you used to have to pay for the math. They used to have like a math. I can't remember now, man. You have to log in to do the math homework. You have to pay for that, like buying a book to go online. It's like buying a book to go online. So I feel like it's gonna turn into that same exact thing with the Neuralinks for sure.
I think everything got its pros and cons. So
oh yeah, that's a good.
This shit not gonna end well.
Yeah, I don't think it is neither. I got a bad feeling about this.
Y'all heard me say.
Hey, that's why
you said it here today. August 26th.
And I think it's really from the lack of trust for some of the humans that are at the top. It ain't even that. It could be a useful tool if people was pure of heart.
It comes down to the greed, but that's a big part of why AFIT, why we're doing what we're doing. That's our mission, is to get the collective to agree to say, look, like shameless plug, just get behind a platform where everyone can at least say, okay, we have people that can shadow these robots doing tasks for your business, for myself, and then it goes from 40 hours a week to maybe 20 hours a week, but that income might shift. Maybe it is universal basic income, but you're doing side hustle stuff to get extra, right?
Something like that.
Whatever it may be. It's going to change. We're going to see that morph. But the whole work 5 days a week, you get 1 day for laundry and 1 day for NFL. It's just
That ain't it either.
it's just, that's not
Right.
that's not life. You get home
Yep.
from work, fighting traffic every day. You feeding 2-3 kids, helping them with homework. You cook dinner. Your day is over.
Yeah.
The average. So just so you guys know that. So the data that I compiled, the average person spends 90,000 hours at a job over a lifetime.
That's crazy.
If you're a doctor or a lawyer, it's probably like 120, 150, something like that. 90,000. So I always tell people, like, when if you were to go into a job, like you sit down in your cubicle, it's my cubicle, yours, and then we sit there and yours is like 88,000, 117, yours is 60,000. It's counting downward. Imagine if those hours counted downward. You were sitting there looking how many more hours you got to work till you retire. You get like, get me the fuck out of here.
It'd be sick.
bro.
It'd be in there like,
Yeah, but it's out of sight, out of mind, though, right?
Right.
So that's the importance of AFIT. Is like we put these machines to become the slaves, and then we can spend more time with our family.
yeah, bro. I got a question for you, man. So, were you always into like the coding and the software? Was that something that developed a little bit over time, or did you know like going into college like what did you specifically what did you? Because I know it's a lot of different terms for like software engineering that could be a major, computer, a whole lot of stuff. So what exactly did you go into? Did you know that you wanted to go into that, or did you like develop that? Wanted to inspect that field.
Yeah, it was never really school. At the time, wasn't really my forte because I knew what was on the outside of the system when I got out of school. Like you get a loan, they'll give you your 20, 30,000 a year to go to school every year, but they won't give me that same 30,000 to start my business. I was like, I was 17, like, red flag.
That don't make sense.
And I was telling all my friends this, they were looking at me like I was crazy back then. Like, nah, you have to. Man. But I was like, nah. That if I were looking at a business plan, I was like, the math ain't math, and family. Like, so it's like and then you leave school, and then you pay for school, like you paying the student loans
after you're done, after you're
and guess
far
what?
from it.
And you're forced into the job force because you have to pay that off. So it's like you get caught up into these traps, and it's a lot of traps in America. It's the wedding trap. It's the engagement ring trap, it's the college trap, it's the mortgage trap, the car note trap, and the bill trap. All of those traps are like, because if I put a pot of all the things that take money from us into the middle of this table, I say power, gas, lighting, phone bill, mortgage, rent, clothes, food, all this stuff. And then I say, all right, who do you get paid from every month? And then the room goes silent. You're running the system.
Right.
You're not in control of anything. So that's when it shifted for me in college. Because in college I was doing network marketing. So I had like, home-based business. People, pyramid scheme stuff, but whatever. But I learned Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all these things that got me into entrepreneurship at 17. So when I was in class, I was taking phone calls and I was leaving class. I was kind of looking around like, man, it's just something doesn't feel right.
Man.
And I always had it in my blood really, really early. I'm not knocking people who go, because I think people who get a full ride, you need doctors and people who are in aerospace, they need to go to school. I don't want anybody touching working on me, operating without a degree. Not to contradict, but the amount that you have to pay for these things, it just doesn't make any sense. So that was my experience. I went to school for marketing. My uncle got me into computers when I was young, about 15, but really everything I'm talking about was self-taught. Had a media background, music background, Universal Music Group. Always did stuff like entertainment, like learning inventions, IP, intellectual property, trademarks, patents, things like that. So I'm an inventor, basically. I'm a creative person.
Me and Jay talk about this all the time, man. Like, being a leader is like a thankless job. And you were talking about how like you were, telling your peers and stuff, just saying like, like they weren't getting it. So did you feel like that was just a mission that you just had to embark on your own? Were you able to find like-minded individuals before you were able to put this team together to help? Because I feel like this is no different than what we're trying to do with our brand and everything, and trying to put a team together and grow it. like, were you able to find that team to help you early on, or was that something that you had to just keep working towards on your own and keep building that knowledge up on yourself, and then you came up with the plan for that, your business and everything, or were you able to, form a team essentially before establishing the business?
Yes, I think people just gravitated towards my energy and my leadership. Some people just kind of have it, and that's not like me, like pat myself on the back or anything. I appreciate like the people who believe in the vision and anything, but it's the mission behind it, and I think like those like-minded individuals joined that. But I had an original team before they all left because we were going to do something different. But I said AI is coming. I wanted to shift the business model before we launched, and they all left. And I had to rebuild from there. And you're always constantly recycling. People coming in and out. People have different personal things going on, and it's not their company. So you always have to know that people, every 3 or 4 years, are always looking for something new and something different to kind of tire out if their own name isn't on a building. And I think that vanity is what kind of separates groups and greatness. The Beatles or whoever, like really name groups that have stuck together and continued without ego, destroying it. Like it's always like someone kind of becomes a Beyonce, and then it's like everything spills out. But then you have other groups who are like, hey, they tried their own solo careers and it just didn't work, and they were so much better as a group. Like Ocean's 11, they're able to do the heist because everyone has a specific role. The tech person, the explosive person, the negotiator. Like that's all sales. That's the tech team. I know my swim lane. When I bring people in the AFIT, I say, you're the CEO of your own position. I know my swim lane. I want you to do what you do best. I'm gonna get the fuck out of your way, completely. So that's how I operate in tech.
I feel like that's the best business model to go by. It's people whose roles, whose whole role is to follow role. Like you said, at Ocean's 11, they had the tech guy. The tech guy wasn't trying to do the explosive. The explosive guy wasn't trying to work on the tech. You know what I mean? I feel like just being able to delegate those tasks, of course, can help a team come together way more easily, and gel way more when everybody knows exactly what they are there for. So when you are, like how you said, managing the people is the hardest part about it. So with the AI work that you guys do have, does the AI, what they do, can a human do as well? But it makes it more efficient, obviously, and more time saving for you.
It's time, yes. It's so, like the people on the team, can the AI do what my team does?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But you still need some sentience. Like you need the human touch to it, like to supervise it. You need people to look at the AI and then kind of correct things. So like AI might do 60% of it, 70% of it. And then you say, okay, well, I'm going to take it from here. So I'm not staring at a blank canvas. And I can take it and curate it, make it more like me. Now, instead of me spending 8 hours, I spent 20 minutes. Big difference in time.
Big difference. You say you have a background in entertainment as well, too. You work with Universal Music. If you don't mind touching a little bit what you did with them?
Yes, composer. Did a lot of songwriting, artistry, worked with a lot of artists.
Definitely.
I was down in Atlanta for the Mecca period, like when Atlanta was like completely thriving.
Yeah.
So AI is going to, for the music industry, is going to change everything. And even before all this stuff started happening with AI, this is probably 10 years ago, I was thinking about how you can take someone's voice and create a verse. Like if we want a new Nipsey Hussle verse, you can just take songs that take his acapellas, you train the model on his voice, and then you can say, written by Eminem, and then he can type out the verse and it'll create the Nipsey Hussle verse. So I saw that stuff coming years ago.
Wow.
And that can be used for great things, and it can be used for bad political reasons. When someone wants to say, oh, this person said something racist, and they actually didn't. They just took their voice and typed something in and said, oh, this is them talking about black people. Now, oh man, I'm not voting for him. And then how do you clean that up?
Right. I love the futurist mindset that you got, man. You always trying to. I sound like you try to see the things before they and prepare yourself for when it does happen, man. I love that mindset for sure, especially when it comes to the entrepreneurship and the financial side. Just for financial freedom, I feel like that's how you gotta be able to think, man. Look long term. Think about the long term picture. I feel like a lot of people are so short term. Have such a short-term mindset. It's when the stuff does, when those things do come, they're blindsided by them. They have no plan or no counteraction. But like I said, for you to be able to, like you said, you saw that coming years ago. You already know exactly how to get around it or work with it, and use it to help you instead of it being against you. It was exactly what your business is supposed to be for sure.
Most definitely. I feel like we can have a whole series on this, and we definitely gonna have to have you back for like a series, like for sure, because there's so many different factors that I feel like we can just expand on and change how we are approaching our business as well. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you coming here today. Let's get on my hand.
Another round of applause, man. We appreciate you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. That's episode 5, man. We'll see y'all next week.
Yes, sir.
Next week.
Let's go.